Truckers X TV on air. We are now live in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Spirit of Justice. In the previous episode, we began this trial with nothing but bad decision here and there during her benevolence inside that causes so many penalties that it was hard for me to figure out what to do. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to begin. Who is this eyewitness that's coming up to the stand? So before we get started, make sure to hit that like button, and your support is greatly appreciated to the channel. So now, let us begin. Who is this witness? Huh? Boots, pants, beard and goggles. The man doesn't even know whose name.
Well now, he has to be the shaggiest witness I have ever laid eyes on. Please state your name and occupation. Oh, I know, that's so-and-so, whatchamacallit. Henshin! Huh.
I'm on, anonymous? Anonymous? TBD, to be decided?
Anonymous to be decided, at least that's what they've been calling me.
Anonymous to be decided.
To be decided?
Oh, to be determined. It's still the same thing.
To be determined? Can't you just tell us your real name?
The witness has suffered a blow to the head, rendering us amnesiac. Therefore, I name him Anonymous TBT in my report, but he thinks TBT is part of his name.
Objection!
You're letting an amnesiac testify? Have no fear, I have already questioned him at length. While it is true he has utterly forgotten his name and past, his memory of what he witnessed is still very much intact.
Oh, what the heck?
Oh, crud. I was drinking water and it spilled on my 3DS capture card. What the heck? Oh, crud. Spit on the screen. Oh, crud. Hold up.
Considering the dearth of information, any new knowledge may be help. Therefore, I will permit his testimony. Now, Mr. Anonymous, please tell us what you saw.
Witness testimony. The night of the murder.
That night, I was up at the top of Mount Pony, the mountain next to the inner sanctum. I hate crowds, so I climb up there to pray in peace. I know it's not a no-no, but since there was no one around, I used my binoculars to spy on the right at the inner sanctum. That's when I saw the accused stab the high priest with a dagger.
I think our only best option is to press forward. There's no way you saw Miss Faye stab the victim with a dagger. I swear I don't know what he's talking about, or don't remember at any rate.
Mount Pony, the beautiful mountain that is also known as the Little Sanctum.
They must be talking about that smaller mountain with the poster from this side right here. And this is the inner sanctum. So Mount Pony is there. From your binoculars? Impossible.
Mr. Amos, I was wondering, what can I do for ya? The inner sanctum lies at a high elevation where clouds and fog can obscure the view. Are you sure you're able to see what happened from the mountaintop next to it?
Good point. His Majesty raises an excellent question. Well, Mr. Inmus?
On the day of the ride, there wasn't a cloud in the sky. I had a perfect view. If you don't believe me, check the weather forecast in the paper that day.
Nick, don't we have the newspaper for that day? Yeah, let's take a look. Weather coverage. The area around the inner sanctum will enjoy calm, clear sky today. The warmer the temperature will make an excellent prayer weather. Be warned, however, that we'll see a cold front move overnight. Huh.
See? Told you so!
May 9th newspaper updated in the court record.
Well, it would appear the witness has offered testimony worth hearing.
Mr. Inmus, I too have a question for you. Didn't he already question the witness?
Well, that's what I'm here for, right? Shoot!
How was the accused holding the dagger? Was she holding it under her hand, its blade protruding from the bottom of her hand?
Yep, I believe she was. It's called a reverse grip.
So instead of having the blade on top of your thumb, it will be in the opposite where your pinky is at. I thought as much.
Hold it right there. What bearing does that have to do with the case?
Whatever. Cease your interruptions, you putrid-headed lawyer. Do you not see the significance in how the blade was held? Why don't you try and enlighten me, O enlightened one? I knew you were a fool. I can already picture you in your next life.
Next life?
Yes, after your soul writhed for centuries in the pits of hell. You shall be reborn as a witness sea urchin with barbs limited to your posterior. You shall live a short, inconsequential life, only to be brutally devoured by a sea otter.
That was a bit excessive. I simply asked what the dagger grip had to do with this case.
Now pay attention how the accused held the dagger is vital importance. With such information we can infer exactly what action she took. You were saying the victim was killed while he had his back to the accused. Is that correct?
Yes.
As such, the accused's dagger grip tells us something very important. The accused approached the victim from behind, swung her arm around him, and plunged the dagger deeper into the abdomen using a reverse grip.
What?
Thus, Mr. Inmus' testimony clears up any doubts that might remain.
And it concedes with her benevolence insights as well.
This is a disaster. I thought I'd blown those insights out of the water, but now they're back to haunt me.
Now then, the defense may cross-examine the witness.
We have no other choice to press on. I actually do want to waste that last... Oh, shoot. I actually do want to waste that last penalty we have. So that way we can start over fresh with 5. So that way I have nothing to worry about. So we're just going to keep on pressing maybe some few things further. You know what, just... I don't know. We're going to get it back anyways. Are you sure you're not mistaken, Mr. Inmus? Was it really Mount Pony Pony that you climbed?
Oh, I'm sure of it. It was pretty pony-ish.
What does that even mean?
You know, now that I think about it, it was a mighty fine view. I ate crowds, so I climbed over to pay in peace.
Hold it!
If you hate crowds, why bother climbing to the top? Couldn't you have just easily prayed at the bottom of Mount Pony Pony?
Wrong, Bucko. This is once a year epic event. I want to pray as close to the actual thing as possible.
If you're so gung-ho about it, why didn't you go pray at the Plaza of Devotion?
Like I said, I hate crowds. I want to pray in peace.
Oh, Holy Mother, why do I only get the annoying ones?
And my burning faith demanded that I climb up the mountain closest to the inner sanctum. Also, I know it's a no-no, but since there was no one around...
Hold it!
You have a pair of binoculars with you? That's pretty convenient. You weren't planning to spy on the Wright all along, were you?
Actually, I just happened to have them for bird watching.
Bird watching, huh? I see. You're not going to keep pressing him on this. He's sketchy as heck, but I don't really have anything I can really sink my teeth into yet. Oh, okay then.
Ha 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 ha! I love that great outdoors. That's just the kind of guy I am. A guy called Anonymous TBD.
He's really starting to get on my nerves.
As I looked through my binoculars, I couldn't believe what was unfolding before me.
Hold it!
Did you really see what you say you did? Whatever.
Are you saying I'm lying about this? Well, I'm not. It's etched permanently in this old noggin.
But I didn't do what you say I did. I didn't even get a chance to touch the dagger on the day of the rite.
What do you... I know that. All I know is what I saw. I never seen ya before in my life. What possible reason could I have to lie?
I didn't expect there to be any witnesses way up there. But I don't remember doing that at all. I know. I have a feeling the witness is lying. There has to be an inconsistency somewhere in his testimony. I should take another look at the court record. At the court record, alright. Alright. I would say it has to do... I would say it would have to do... Cause of death, blood loss from a deep abdominal wound caused by a bladed weapon. The wound appears to have been inflicted by the warbar dagger used in the rite. The mark on his face is one born... Oh, that's a tattoo. Prayer flags outside the ritual crater. They have been sewn to get into a long banner, which does not make sense still. Spring water was already staying ran when we arrived at the intersection on the day of the rite. I mean, I can definitely want to waste that last penalty so we can get rid of it and start freshly new. That's all I'm asking for. There's a contradiction right there, because if he was at Mount Pony Pony, he was at the top. How can you see something if that was blocked off? I hate crowds, so I climb up these praise and peace. I know it's a no-no, but since there was no one around, I used my donkey to spy on the right. I used my binoculars to spy on the right at the inner sanctum. We're gonna definitely lose our freaking... If that's the full moon, if that's the place. I would say I'm definitely gonna lose that one strike right there I have. So that way I can start fresh. That's all I can think. Okay, back again, once again. Now I finally got rid of that freaking last minute, that last penalty. We can now continue on what I'm supposed to do. But I just want to press on this part right here, just in case. Since nobody was around, there is nobody who can corroborate your actions either. In that case, Mr. Immis, let me ask you this. Was there a reason you didn't want to be seen?
About that. If you got caught climbing the surrounding mountains on the day of the rite, you could get in big trouble. Ha ha ha.
That's it?
Yeah, it's totally embarrassing getting yelled at when you're a grown-up. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, you're a real grown-up, alright.
And since nobody was around, I lost all intimidation and...
That's where he's talking about. Guides, will you stop lagging on me? What the heck? Wait, is it still working? No signal, what the heck? Thank you. Okay, we're gonna try that again, but this time a different one. Isolating from the outside, the entrance was shut during the rite. We could actually use that one. Let's try it. Let's try that one. Let's try it.
Objection!
Nope. That's not it. Let's look it up. That is not it. Let's look it up. Which one is it? What the heck? Where am I? Okay, I may be bad at this, but seriously, what am I looking at? Now the murder, updated newspaper, present statement 4. Camp enclosure.
Objection!
Well, I was right on something. I was right. It was something else. It was something else. It was definitely else. Your Majesty, I had my doubts about this bushy-bearded witness, but now I know we can't trust him.
What? You ain't just judging me solely on my bodacious beard, are ya?
Not at all, Mr. Inmus. It's much more than your sketchy appearance. It's your sketchy testimony.
His testimony, you say?
Yes, recall how the inner sanctum was that day. Specifically that it was completely enclosed by the ritual curtain.
Yes, I believe you're right.
The curtain would have completely blocked the witness's view from Mount Pony Pony. Therefore, he could have possibly have seen the murder happen.
Ho-ha! Mr. Inmus, have you been knowingly making false statements to this court? Hey, you got me! The witness will lower his voice. I didn't actually see the accused herself.
He didn't actually see the accused herself. What's that supposed to mean?
Let me see the record straight, I beg ya.
Another one? You could have just revised it. The night of the murder, amended.
I saw their shadowy silhouettes protected against the ritual curtain.
The figures were created by the light of the full moon on that clear and still night. Okay, that's just wrong right there.
She was just a shadow, but I could tell it was the accused reverse grip that daggered.
How can the full moon create that?
That's right. I could see what was going on in the shadows projected onto the ritual curtain.
It could be the flames.
In the future, Mr. Inmus, I would rather you offer up accurate testimony from the start. Forgive me, my main man, Mr. Majesty. Chalk it up to my fuzzy memory.
Though he saw but shadows, it is still a valuable testimony. You have to be kidding me! What are we going to do now, Nick? All I can think of is to look for inconsistencies between the actual Wright and what Mr. Inmus saw.
Now then, the defense may cross-examine the witness once more.
What else is to brag about? We're back again to this. He should have just fixed his statement. Night of the murder, amended.
Hold it!
You claimed to see shadowy figures that were projected onto the ritual curtain, but did you really see them, Mr. Inmus?
Of course I did. The bright moonlight projected them onto the curtain, clear as day.
I don't even think the moon can actually do that. But I don't think it can do that. Yeah, really, it's the moon. I don't think the moon can actually be casting shadows on a curtain. I would say it has to be the flames. What do we have? Yo, again, thank you. figures were created by the light of the full moon on that clear, still night. I don't think that's possible right now.
Objection!
Nope, that's not it. That's not it. Let's see, what am I supposed to... That ritual guide, what the heck? I have the right idea, but the wrong evidence. What the heck? This is actually becoming harder for me, really.
Objection!
You saw silhouettes projected by the moonlight. Sorry, but that's just not possible.
What do you mean? How is it not possible that it was totally possible? That's impossible.
I think I'm going to need an illogical translation on that. Let's take a look on this Wright's guide, shall we, Mr. Inmus? The Wright's is held when the moon is directly over the summit of Mount Pony Pony. Doot doot doot. So if the moon was shining from the west, any shadows would have been cast eastward. But Mr. Inmus was standing to the west of the inner sanctum on Mount Pony Pony.
Oh, holy mother.
That's right. Eyewitness here couldn't have seen any shadowy figures on that curtain.
No! No way! Perhaps it was the sacred flames of the lanterns that cast the shadows he saw.
I'm afraid not. I inspect them during my investigation, but the flames were too small to cast the crisp, distinct figures of Mr. Emmett's claims to have seen.
What? I did see silhouettes, really?
But how could he, Nick? Maybe he was someplace where they were visible. Wait, don't tell me. Your Majesty! Mr. Emmet really did see those shadows. It brings a brand new fact to light.
And that would be...
The brand new fact that comes to light if Mr. Emmet really see those shadows is... he was somewhere else. That's the only fact. He wasn't where he claimed to be at the time of the murder.
Do-do-do-do-do. Oh, then where do you propose the witness was?
Someplace where he could have seen the shadow figures naturally. Wait, you mean... None of the mountains east of the inner sanctum are close enough for a good view. That leaves only one place he could have clearly see the shadows from.
And where might that be?
This is where Mr. Emmet was at the time of the murder. The inner sanctum? Mr. Emmet was at the inner sanctum just outside the curtain of the east side. Hey, that's the only place from which he could have seen the shadowy figures.
Oh!
Really? Wow, I didn't even think of that.
But wasn't the inner sanctum off limits to all the victim and the accused?
And the third party who was there, you mean? I get the feeling that's a subject prosecutor Sadmati would rather not touch right now.
Ah, you mean...
That's right! This witness was at the scene of the crime! Which means he is the mysterious third party we saw during the divination seance! He could have been the one who dressed as Lady Kita and killed the High Priest!
Ugh. What?
Objection.
No one but the two participants were allowed anywhere near the inner sanctum. And the only way up there are the stairs that start down at the Plaza of Devotion. So tell me, how do you propose the witness enter the secret space? Oh, he must have haven't thought that far ahead.
The sanctum has sheer cliffs on the three sides and steep, towering rock face on the other. No one could have made it there by climbing the faces of those cliffs.
His Majesty speaks true. To say Mr. Invis was at such an inaccessible location is but a bit to tarnish his credibility. Is that not right?
Right! I wasn't at the inner sanctum, no sir, no how. At least I'm pretty sure I wasn't.
Hold it!
Then, what about those silhouettes you claim to have seen?
I'm starting to think I haven't been imagining things.
What? This is insane!
Peace, I say!
This is impossible. Unless I can show how he got to the inner sanctum, it just looks like I'm trying to slander Mr. Inmus. I believe in you, Nick. Rah, rah, sis boom ba! Fight, fight, Phoenix Wright! Just look at the accused. She is no shame. What's your problem, lady? Phoenix Wright is very trustworthy, I'll have you know. Oh, great. This is definitely a away game. Please, Maya, you're only making it worse. I appreciate the vote of confidence, but it's probably best to keep it yourself for now.
I would advise the defense to think carefully before making any more sudden outbursts.
Yes, Your Majesty. If I wasn't the bad guy before, I definitely can now. Now, Mr. Inves, I would like you to think back carefully before you testify next about where you were that night. Here we go again. The next part right now. Witness testimony. Are we close yet? Nope, not even.
I was never at the inner sanctum, I tell ya! That much I'm sure of, even with a fuzzy memory. Besides, it would have been impossible to get there in the first place. Boy, you lawyers sure are scary.
I guess it might have been impossible for him to get to the inner sanctum like he claims, but... Now, will you desist in trying to frame this innocent witness? Great.
Mr. Wright, is it not time to end these cross-examinations?
A moment of desperation leads to 100 million years of torment. It means that for each moment a sinner spends struggling to deny their sins, 100 million years of torment are added to the time in hell. Kudaism is the strictest religion ever. And just so you know, you've already accrued 200 million extra years.
What the heck?
Sure, what another 200 million give or take? Well, it's a big deal to me! I can't keep saying the witness was there at the inner sanctum. If I can prove it, the problem is, how am I going to do that? What can we say about this guy? I wasn't at the inner sanctum. Let's see, I was never at the inner sanctum, I tell ya. Not much I'm sure of, even with the fuzzy memory. Besides, it would have been impossible to get here in the first place. It's not even a stylus, it's a pan. That's the only thing I did not understand. Let's see. Okay. I think all I have to do is just press forward just to see where I can get at.
Hold it!
You just said your memory was fuzzy.
I sure did. What's the big deal?
I'll tell you what, your testimony isn't very credible if your memory of the events is fuzzy.
Oh, no worries there. My memory may be fuzzy, but I'm very clear on one thing.
Here we go again.
If you ask me whether or not I remember what I did that night, I say I do. And sure, you're confident that your testimony is true. Exactly. Guess you don't get to be a judge for nothing. So in closing, I can totally say that I was totally not there.
Okay, let's look it up. Okay. Option 3. Sanctuary. He was in a different place. Option 3. I didn't go to the sanctuary. Statement 3. Press. This is statement 3.
Holding!
I wonder if it really was possible for you to get to the inner sanctum. If you have something to say, I'd just say it. Couldn't there have been another way to get there? A way that wouldn't attract attention?
No, there isn't.
Which means there is.
Perhaps the friends would share its theory with us.
I don't even have a wild guess, let alone a theory though. Time to reach into my bag of bluffs. To reach the inner sanctum without attracting any attention. Without reaching attention. I would say you fell from the sky. I would say that. Is that the option? Is that the option? Is that the option? Let me see. Fall from the sky, yep. Maybe you fell from the sky.
The lawyer thinks he's a comedian now.
I was wondering what crazy theory you would propose next. Well, defense, let's hear it. Mr. Immis could have, parachuted down. We already know the weather was clear and there was no wind to speak of. Perfect weather for skydiving, I say. Now that you have been backed into a corner, your delusional grows even more delusional. The inner sanctum is on a tiny ledge upon a sheer cliff over 2,000 meters tall. One misstep and a skydiver would soon find himself in the Twilight Realm.
Yeah, I don't care how still the wind was. Even I could have made that jump.
Wait, what's this building on top of the sacred mountain? That is the Royal Penitentiary, number 4. Alright. Princess Raven mentioned there was a prison up there. How do you get your prisoners up there anyway? By a helicopter, but only with authorization from the Minister of Justice. He is the only one who can approve flights that pass over the inner sanctum. Mountain range poster updated. Might I also add the fence, that no parachute or any other equipment necessary for skydiving has been found.
No, there is another way. Are you saying I flew down by flopping my arms? I may be an incredible dude, but even I'm not capable of that.
There is another way. Well, please add the statement to your testimony, Mr. Inmus. There is another way. It's not like I can fly through the air either. Besides, no, there is a way. There is a way. There is a way.
Objection!
Mr. Inmus is right. He couldn't have skied down there without any gear.
Well now, finally come around, have ya? Now you see that I couldn't have possibly been there at the inner sanctum.
Right. If you didn't have any gear, that is.
What on earth are you talking about?
That overreaction is a dead giveaway that I'm on the right track. Take a look at this piece of evidence.
Those are prayer flags, are they not?
Yes, but they have been sewn together to create one big banner. A banner that can also function like a parachute.
What?
The people of Kurine are so used to seeing prayer flags that the police didn't even think twice about these flags during their investigation. No, this cannot be! The witness landed on the inner sanctum by using these prayer flags as a parachute. Is that not right, Mr. Inmus?
There's no way out! I'm surrounded!
Mr. Inmus.
All this talk jogged my memory. I guess I was there at the inner sanctum after all. Grrr.
As I suspected, there were 3 people there that night. You didn't, Nick. You weren't wrong after all.
Thanks.
Mr. Inmus, you were the one disguised as Lady Kita that night, weren't you?
What? No way, no how. It's like this. Oh yeah. I was only there at the incident by accident.
By accident?
Exactly. And that thing's not a parachute, it's a homemade paraglider.
A paraglider? Are you telling me you could fly using that patchwork mess of material?
It may not look much, but it's sturdy as it can be. I rode the wind like an eagle, going higher and higher from my earthly launching point. But then something happened that forced me to land at the inner sanctum.
So you just happened to land there? You expect me to believe that?
Now, please calm yourself, Mr. Wright. However, the fact the witness was at the inner sanctum is crucial testimony indeed. It certainly warrants further explanation, therefore...
Oh no. Here we go, round 4. 4 times in a row. Why I was at the that evening, I was enjoying a trek through the night sky with my homemade... What the heck?
That evening, I was enjoying a trek through the night sky with my homemade paraglider. But just as Mount Pony was drawing near, something terrible happened. An accident forced me to make an emergency landing at the inner sanctum. As I landed, I banged my head, causing me to lose my memory. So you see, I ended up at the inner sanctum purely by accident.
I don't know why I talk like that, but okay. Mr. Inmes, you failed to mention any of this during your pre-trial questioning.
Can't be helped. I mean, I'm just remembering it now.
Continue such slip-hold testimony and you will be cast into hell of hangnails. There is definitely more one room of hell, where you shall have hangnails grown and ripped out for 800 million years.
Hooah! I think I'll pass on that.
Looks like that caught Rusty Samani off guard. This is my chance to rip his case to shreds. Here we go, round 4. What to do? Why was I at the intersection? That evening, I was enjoying a trek through the night sky with my homemade paraglider. But just as needs a charge! Need to charge it? Need to charge it? There you go. Just as the Mount Point drawing near, something terrible happened.
Hold it!
What exactly was this accident you had?
Good question. Now what was it again? Wind? Oh yeah, it was the wind. And not just any wind, but a sudden gale force wind made me lose control.
The wind was strong enough to make you lose control, huh?
You got that right.
Okay then, please add that to your testimony.
Gale force winds come out of nowhere, so I made a emergency landing at the sanctum.
Hold it!
Had the wind been blowing the whole time around the mountains?
Yep, just the right amount of wind for paragliding. So the sudden gale force wind was a real shocker.
I see, so a distant wind had been blowing until then.
Right! A paraglider is not much use without a decent wind.
As I landed, I banged my hand because I lose my memory.
Hold it!
Where at the inner sanctum did you land?
That's easy, where the paraglider ended up.
I guess that makes sense. And so outside the ritual curtain on the side where the moonlight shadows were cast.
But right as I landed, I hit my head on a rock. I lost both my consciousness and my memory. Ha ha ha!
Something's seriously wrong with this guy.
So you see, I ended up at the inner sanctum purely by accident.
Hold it!
You're lucky to be alive after an accident like that. Wow. You're incredibly lucky. Almost miraculously so.
If you got something to say, just say it.
Alright, Mr. and Miss. It wasn't an accident, was it? You landed at the inner sanctum on purpose.
What the? No, it was an accident, I'm telling you. You don't even have proof, so stop making things about me.
His testimony is like a moving target. Okay, Nick. Time for some evidence. You know, really grab him by the scruff of his neck. One thing at a time, Maya. First have to find inconsistency. But where there is an inconsistent changing testimony, there are bound to be discrepancies and other issues.
Objection!
We have a saying in my country, Mr. and Miss. One lie begets another.
Huh? What's that supposed to mean?
It means someone caught lying will lie again in another attempt to conceal their first lie. In other words, this current testimony is just a blatant lie you're telling to cover your tracks.
What did you say?
You claim gale force winds caused you to lose control, but this newspaper has the weather report for the day of the murder. It says, the area around the incident will enjoy calm, clear skies today.
Bokuka! Why do you believe it does say that?
One lie begets another. That makes sense, but is it really a saying back home? I've never heard of it.
Yeah, I kinda made that one up.
For real?
Your Majesty, the witness testimony contains another flaw, one that's even more fatal to his cause. More fatal, you say? Defense will explain himself at once.
Mr. Emmons claims he was flying up around the intersection with his paraglider, but it wouldn't have been possible to get all the way up there without any wind.
Why yes, I believe you're right. Well, we know the witness was at the inner sanctum, so... Mr. Emmons, how did you get there, and from where?
Excuse me. Without any wind, he could have flown up there from the bottom of the mountain. By process of elimination, the only starting point that makes any sense is... Your Majesty, I believe I have the answer to your question. To reach the inner sanctum, Mr. Emmons must have been launched himself from here.
Take that!
Ooh! Are you insane? That's where he came from?
If he couldn't have come from below, the only option is from above. So you see, Anonymous came down from Royal Planetary number 4. From there, he could have easily reached the intersection by parachute. And that means he might have also killed the High Priest.
What?
Mr. Inmus, were you the third party at the inner sanctum? And the one behind warning to halt the ride the victim received? Was it you we saw in the final memory? Are you the rebel hunter, Lady Kita?
Wah! Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, sir, help me out here!
You did it! You finally left him speechless.
Oh, come on, Mr. Prosecutor, man!
Quiet, you fool. You should use this time to prepare yourself for what is to come. For a fate far worse than hangnail hell awaits you now. Well done, defense. I must concede the point to you. The witness did in fact ascend to the inner sanctum from Royal Penitentiary number 4. Huh? He didn't even put up a fight this time. That's awfully generous of him. But if you are as perceptive as you seem, then surely you've already figured out the riddle. The riddle of Anonymous' true identity? Oh, his true identity? Not sure I know quite yet, but I guess I'll have to answer with something.
It would seem I am the only one still in the dark here. Would the defense care to enlighten me? Who is the man being called Anonymous?
The witness' true identity is... Is this really him? Huh. Only now do you realize the truth. Did I click the right thing? That's the thing. Well, please share it with us your belated insight. What's wrong, Nick? Just say it! Because this isn't going to be very helpful to our case. Really? Are you sure? Unfortunately, I've got no other choice. That scruffy beard and shaggy mane completely threw me off. But it's all becoming clear now. The nighttime base jump from the mountaintop prison, the precision landing at the inner sanctum using only homemade parachute. Only a paratrooper, or more precisely, a former paratrooper, could have pulled that off. This witness is that's a rebel, prison escapee, and key member of Dirk's rebel group.
What? The witness is an escaped prisoner!
Precisely. The police have been scouring every corner of the city to no avail. Meanwhile, here, he was under our noses the entire time.
Ah! Didn't think anyone would see through my clever disguise!
But the witness charade is not all that has been shattered. Is it, defense?
Boy, do I hate this guy.
Please recall defense's own words.
Whoever sent it clearly meant to threaten the high priest. The letter said do not perform the rite.
Oh. But then again, who is it that sent it? So it cannot be him, but another person. He claimed that the real killer was the rebel hunter disguised as Lady Kira. Yeah, and what's your point? And that guy's another person, entirely different. What of the witness's true identity? Where this guy, he claims that he's the escapee. They're two different people, so he's just a witness, that's all. So the third party is somewhere out there. Ah! No! He is a rebel and an escaped prisoner. He could not possibly have been Lady Kira, mortal enemy of the rebels. No! Either way, that's what I said. It's just two different people. Perhaps the witness will enlighten us the truth. After all, he has yet to refute any of this.
Is it another testimony? You got me! On the razor-sharp face of the Defiant Dragons! That's a level!
When did you get your memory back?
Oh, around the time you guys were talking about there being no wind. But you gotta give me credit for making up all the testimony off the top of my head.
Are you prepared to tell us the truth now?
Well, it's true I parachuted down to the inner sanctum, but I banged my head on impact and ended up unconscious outside the original curtain. In short, all my eyewitness testimony was a big fat lie.
A big fat lie? Oh, what? Oh, the freaking charger.
By the way,
Hopefully I can finish it before then.
long time no see, Yudi.
Yudi? Him? Wait, they know each other? Your Majesty, this filthy rebel belongs in a jail cell.
Oh yes, of course. They live. Seize them at once. Seems you already have forgotten the will of the dragon, huh, Yudi? But I haven't, and no dogs of the Garen regiment are gonna lay a finger on me. Alley-oop!
Huh? He ran. Deploy all available resources. I want all units placed in high alert. He definitely ran.
The escaped prisoner escaped again.
The police force have been placed on high alert. He'll be caught before long. An escaped prisoner who escaped the law again after giving a ton of false testimony? Talk about a troublemaker. He really pulled a number on all of us. What was the point of all of that anyway?
Well, I can't help but feel the entire episode was an enormous waste of time.
Your Majesty, perhaps it was not as great of a waste as you might believe.
What makes you say that, Prosecutor Samari?
That's a rebel dropped something as he made escape from these halls.
That scrap of paper looks...
That scrap of paper looks awfully familiar. These appear to be direct orders from Dirk.
Dirk, the rebel leader? Oh, but we only have a small corner of it.
Wait I remember now. Your Majesty, I've seen that scrap of paper before.
You have?
The scrap of paper that's a rebel drop is a part of this.
Take that!
And this is...
I found it at the scene of the crime. It appears to copy of the order that Mr. A Rebel drop. If we put two together, we should be able to read what it says.
Oh my, just what does it say?
I can't read Chinese.
Prosecute somebody if you please.
The ignorant lawyer has not bothered to learn our language. Very well then. I do not understand. Well, what does it say? Using the lamplights as a landmark, he was to parachute down to the inner sanctum. Upon the rite's completion, he was to don Lady Kita's robes and make his escape.
What? That is how he was to escape from prison?
So if I were to assume that Mr. Rebel was the one who killed the High Priest, then maybe it was because Abed Inmi tried to thwart his escape plan. Oh, foul lawyer. I'm afraid that is simply ludicrous. Huh? But I didn't say anything! Did he just read my mind? I know how your putrid mind works. Unfortunately for you, however, now that the rebel escape plan has been revealed, it is clear that the rebel is not the High Priest killer. How can you be sure? If only you would use that putrid braid of yours every once in a while. That's a rebel's plan could not have worked without the help of a certain individual. What do you mean? I am speaking of Enmi, of course. Had That's a rebel simply donned Lady Kita's robes and made his escape alone, he would have been far too conspicuous, but were he by the High Priest's side, the faithful citizens praying in the plaza would have no cause to suspect anything. It is therefore unthinkable that That's a rebel was the High Priest's killer. Ah!
So then, you're saying the High Priest was I cannot bear to say it.
I am afraid it is. He numbered among the rebels who threaten our kingdom.
How could this be?
Let it go and move on. Accept the truth, it's the only way. And that goes double for you, defense. Cease your futile battle now. And why should I? Because I will now put the final nail in the coffin of the accused. Now that we eliminate that Zarel from our list of suspects, there is only one person that still remains, the accused Maya Fey.
Hold it!
Hold it right there! Aren't you forgetting something important?
Something important? Please do explain.
We can't end this trial without looking into... We can't say the arrow that was used. The third party, the murder weapon. What about the murder weapon? We haven't found it yet. What does it matter? It has been found or not. Great, I think we lost a freaking... Yeah, we lost it. Okay, it's gotta be the third party. It's gotta be the third party right there. No, Your Majesty, there is still something important that brought to light. We gotta look into the third party. I'm talking about the true identity of Lady Kita we saw in the seance vision. If that wasn't That's a Rebel, then who was it?
Objection!
That matter has already been resolved. It has? What's he talking about? It is as I maintained from the start. There was no third party in the seance vision.
Objection! Satura!
What the?
Satura ima o mandomo samashi de tashi no ketare kaseo soroka!
It is time to let it go and move on. Your fate has already been sealed, much like your arm. This is hardly seem fair. It is quite simple once you consider where the victim and the accused were at the time. If the victim was near the spring with his back to the accused, what would he see ahead? Besides the water itself, there is nothing but a war-barred statue. I would still say he impelled himself with the statue. Precisely. The Lady Kita we saw in the seance vision is the war-barred statue draped in her sacred robes. No way! The accused wanted to falsify false Lady Kita to appear in the seance vision. Before she came from behind and stabbed the victim with a dagger in a reverse grip.
But why would the accused want to do something like to create a false Lady Kita?
To show it to the victim as he was being slain.
And what reason the accused had to fool the victim she was about to kill?
It was not the victim she was trying to fool. It was this very court itself.
Come again?
Suspicion would not fall on the accused if it looked as if another Lady Kita was there. And the defense was foolish enough to fall for it and claim it as the third party in disguise. How long is this conversation? I am. It was all a cleverly wicked scheme perpetrated by the accused. A scheme in which she sought to use the seance vision to mislead us. Wait, what? This can't be happening. You're telling me he knew this is how it would turn out all the way back then? And that he was just waiting for the most effective moment to spring it to me? Do you understand now? I've had you dancing in the palm of my hand this entire time. It can't be.
This is outrage. You took our royal priestess' sacred divination seance and used it to commit the most foul and despicable murder.
No, I did nothing of the sort. Maya. Nick, it's not true. I didn't.
Objection!
Cease this ugly display. Your fate is sealed now that the facts have been exposed. I still don't get it. Your Majesty, the time has come to convict this criminal who only seeks to taint the sacred hall.
Indeed, it seems this trial is over.
Hold it!
Does the defense wish to offer yet another counter-argument or something?
The accused is not the killer. Here's why. Now what do? I got nothing.
It would appear the defense has run out of arguments to make.
I thought for sure that the rebel was the killer. The only person with a possible motive, the one dressed as Lady Kita, has vanished. And I've got nothing to use against Prosecutor Sanmari's argument. Damn it! I can't lose now! Not like this!
Very well then, I shall now render my verdict.
Wait! Please wait! I'm begging you! It is time to let it go and move on. I'm getting tired of that line.
The trial need not for drawn out any longer. The defense has failed to counter the charge filed by the prosecution. In accordance with the law, I am.
Yeah, we screwed up. Did I screw it up? Did I screw it up? Ah! Did I screw it up? Did I screw it up? Did I screw it up?
Your Majesty, please forgive the interruption, but
Thank you. Thank you! I was about to say,
what is the meaning of this? A body has been found in the Plaza Devotion, Your Majesty.
what's this? A body? What happened now?
And we found this sticking out of the victim. Why, that's Lady Kita's wood-bar dagger. Peace!
Well, it would seem the dagger that was once lost has been found.
I have one more thing to report, Prosecutor Samadi.
Yes?
This dagger. It bears the fingerprints of Maya Fey on it.
What? That makes things worse. But why would Maya's prints be on it? I would still say the statue. Kill him. I cannot believe it, yet it must be true.
There's something the matter, Prosecutor Sanmari.
This trial has run its course and the accused guilt has been firmly established. However, it would seem the defense was right about one thing. I was? You claim that the murder at the inner sanctum had been carried out by the rebel hunter masquerading as Lady Kita. I did say something to that effect, but what of it?
Sanmari, are you suggesting what I think you are?
I believe the true identity of the rebel hunter who has been masquerading as Lady Kita is none other than the accused Miss Maya Fey. What? Me?
What?
I realize how shocking this must seem. Looking back, however, I now realize there was much that pointed to this fact. The rebel hunting Lady Kita was first sighted about 2 years ago, and the accused first came to our kingdom 2 years ago as well.
Why, the timing matches perfectly.
But there is more. That warning letter was found in the High Priest's bedroom 3 days before the Wright. Despite his house being locked up tight that night.
Objection!
How does that prove anything?
Objection!
It is difficult to believe an intruder could have found a way to enter such a secure house. However, the accused was known to come and go freely there, mainly to prepare for the purification rite. The accused could have easily left the house unlocked for herself without anyone noticing. No! Lady Kita warning updated in the court record. If we assume that the accused was Lady Kita, that more than established her motive for killing the High Priest.
The victim was secretly an insurgent, bent on helping deaths or rebel escape after all.
Precisely. That made him a target of Lady Kita's wrath. How long is this cutscene? And after killing the High Priest, she then unleashed her divine justice on another rebel. So it seems the scope of this case has expanded. We now have 2 murders perpetrated by Miss Maya Fey, masquerading as Lady Kita.
If Miss Fey is indeed a serial killer, it would affect the severity of her punishment. In light of this, I believe the second murder must be investigated before we can proceed.
As you wish, Your Majesty. Maya Fey, I hereby charge you with this second murder. May your defiled soul feel the weight of your sins. A new murder charge on top of a guilty verdict?
The state's defense will live to see one more day.
Talk about hanging on by a thread. Come tomorrow, a far more terrible punishment awaits you.
I hereby suspend the proceedings so that second murder may be investigated. Until the conclusion of this new investigation, this court is adjourned.
Oh my god. To be continued. Oh, there's so much that has happened. We'll see what happens in the next investigation. So anyways, make sure to hit that like button and comment performance. If you're new, if you'd like to see, click subscribe button, Destruct6 TV, and I'm signing out.